36 boats, a rapid strike force of piracy's most aggressive and reckless elements, emerging from the shallow coastal fog like phantoms. They believed that speed and surprise were their greatest weapons, that a swift, violent ambush could cripple a larger, more powerful foe before it knew what hit it. Their target was the USS Typhoon, a Cyclone-class coastal patrol ship, a nimble but lethal guardian of the sea lanes. They saw a smaller U.S. Navy vessel, a target they thought they could overwhelm through sheer localized force. They thought their coordinated rush would lead to a quick capture and a political nightmare for America. They were about to learn that the United States Navy does not classify its ships by size, but by purpose. And the purpose of the USS Typhoon was to bring a storm of fire to anyone foolish enough to challenge it. The pirates didn't know what was waiting for them. The USS Typhoon, a Cyclone-class patrol ship, moved with a predatory grace through the misty, dawn-lit waters close to a hostile shore. At 170 feet long, it was smaller than the Navy's destroyers and cruisers, but what it lacked in size, it more than made up for in speed, agility, and a ferocious arsenal packed into its sleek frame. Armed with a stabilized Mk-38 25mm chain gun, 50 caliber heavy machine guns, and a battery of Mk-19 automatic grenade launchers, it was a floating ambush predator designed for exactly this environment. Its mission was interdiction, to patrol the shallow, contested coastal zones where larger ships dared not go, to sniff out smuggling operations, and to serve as a visible, persistent deterrent. To its crew of 36 Navy sailors and SEALs, it was another tense, quiet morning. Every sense attuned to the radar and the horizon, where the mist could hide anything. But this quiet morning is about to explode into chaos. The first warning wasn't electronic, it was visual. A lookout on the starboard wing spotted the faint, dark shapes first. Contact! Multiple contacts! Dead ahead in the fog! The radar, confused by the clutter of the coastline and the weather, had been blindsided. In an instant, the world erupted. 36 pirate skiffs, their engines suddenly screaming at full throttle, materialized from the bank of fog less than 500 yards away. They had been lying in wait, silent and invisible, using the environment as their cloak. This was no broad assault. It was a focused spear-point attack designed to punch through the Typhoon's defenses in one violent, decisive moment. Their strategy was one of shocking, point-blank violence. They came not in waves, but in a single concentrated swarm, all 36 boats converging on the patrol ship's bow. Their goal was to get so close, so fast, that the ship's powerful weapons couldn't depress enough to target them, to become a cloud of gnats attacking a giant's face. But they didn't think about what happens the instant they closed that last 100 yards. Rocket-propelled grenades streaked across the narrowing gap, slamming into the Typhoon's superstructure. The concussive blasts rocked the ship. Heavy machine gun fire raked the deck, pinging and sparking off the armor plating. The element of surprise was total and devastating. The pirates, screaming and firing wildly, closed to within 50 yards in a matter of seconds, already throwing grapnels. On the bridge, the captain, a seasoned lieutenant commander, didn't flinch. The ship was designed for this. "All stations, repulse boarders, light them up, now!" he yelled, his voice cutting through the chaos. The response was instantaneous and deafening. The Typhoon didn't try to turn. It stood its ground and became a fortress of fire. The forward Mk-38 25mm chain gun, computer stabilized and lethal, whirred to life. It didn't just fire. It hosed the oncoming swarm with high explosive shells. The first 3 pirate boats were literally torn apart in seconds, their splintered remains vanishing in violent geysers of water and flame. And that wasn't even the most brutal part. But the pirates kept coming, weaving through the carnage, their numbers still overwhelming. This was the moment they had banked on, getting inside the ship's weapons umbrella. They were now so close that the main gun couldn't track them. They thought they had won. They were wrong. This was when the Typhoon's secondary arsenal came online. From behind reinforced gun shields on both port and starboard sides, sailors opened up with Mk-19 automatic grenade launchers. The thump, thump, thump of 40mm high-explosive grenades added a new bass note to the symphony of destruction. The grenades rained down on the tightly packed skiffs, and the resulting explosions were catastrophic. Boats vanished into fireballs, their fuel and ammunition cooking off in secondary detonations that engulfed their neighbors. Simultaneously, Navy SEALs stationed on deck added their own presence,